Waves Radio. I am your host, Agrode. Currently witness number 11, I believe, on the Steem blockchain. This is an event called Steem Visions. It is an online art exhibit put together by Steemians who have created either art projects, individual pieces of art, or really are about some kind of visual presentation and participation. Specifically on the Steem blockchain. So this is like a get to know your Steem artist kind of event. I am joined by Julia K. Ponsford as well as by Stella Bell. And these are two of the most prominent artists on the platform that I can think of. And I'm super stoked to be joined by them. So, Stella, can you quickly introduce yourself and just, this is the Minnow Support Project, or we're housed in the Minnow Support Project. So while a lot of what we're doing, we're going to talk about projects and things that we all might be quite familiar with, but this is still a Minnow audience, and we still have, over 1,000 new members a week. So I'd like to start at a base level to basically just say, give us the basics of who you are, the project, and assume that even though a lot of the audience is going to have a great concept of who you are, some folks are going to have no idea. And so let's start with that.
Oh, okay. All right. My name is Stella Bell. I joined Steam It in 2016. So I've been involved for almost 2 years now, and corn because I did not see any whales supporting artists really, and I wanted to also things with my project Slothicorn, which I wanted to bridge the gap between actually all the different cryptocurrency digital tribes, teaching artists the new financial independence tools in the crypto economy. So I really have two missions going on simultaneously. The main thing that is help artists learn how to operate in the new crypto economy and get free. So from wage slavery, as far as creative people, is my main mission.
Can you?
That's a lot, but that's really what it's all about.
Well, that
And I'm
that does sound pretty awesome. Can you? My mic might be picking up my headphones. All right, I'll turn down my volume on my headphones just a bit. Can you give a quick sense? I mean, this could be a great discussion on the Minimum Town Hall or something else. And I'm sure that we could spend an hour just talking about this. But could you give kind of like the big picture view of how an artist might do that? And is do
yeah.
you see how do you see this working with other cryptocurrencies other than just Steem? I mean, Steem, it's pretty
Okay.
obvious. You create art, you make a post, and you get paid for the post and the art. Um,
Yeah, no,
how
there's
do you do that with like Bitcoin?
okay, perfect example. I want to let people know Ruben Alexander, who created the 100 EOS logos just, for fun and just because he felt inspired. Now he's going to be, I kind of set up a group where he's now working directly with the EOS team to have them use his art. And the second thing is Ruben reached out to Pinkcoin, got funding for a role-playing game that he created within Steemit. So the type of artist that I want everyone to learn how he operates. So what he did is he came up with a game to play on the Steemit platform, but it has a charity component baked into it. So then he reached out to Pinkcoin. He already had connections with the Pinkcoin artists and people involved in that, but they liked his idea, so they gave him 6,000 Pinkcoin, I think it was, to then distribute to the players of the game and Steam it. So now we're talking about something different where we can actually reach out to other crypto coins, get support, and get funding from different cryptocurrencies. Stuff that I'm educating people on, or that he's educating me on, and we're sharing this knowledge how to operate within digital worlds. Like that's what I'm really inspired by. So I'm building bridges.
That sounds awesome. And that sounds like, that I think that answers a question to some extent of how do you go about this and people support other projects. I mean, when we're not all bound to fiat currencies and we're not all bound to the sort of poverty inducing state that they create, but we actually have additional funds and we know that there is more money that is likely to come into this and we feel wealth, we can be extremely generous with one another. And when we
Right,
live in that
right,
abundance mindset, we
and
take
this
care.
also frees us from the caste system within Steam, because Steam is still a caste system, and it's hard to get noticed and to get support. So you can actually go out in your mind a bit and realize, look, there's thousands of other cryptocurrencies. How can we bridge the gap between all, like, how can we bring in wealth from other places into Steam? This is a different mindset
No,
that I want
it's
to
awesome.
encourage artists. Yeah.
No, that's very healthy. Well, I hope that you and I have a chance to sort of explore that in depth and can bring up some more examples of and more success stories, and hopefully just talk to them and poke and say, how did you do this? Where did the connections come from?
I
Because
already did the videos and we have the blogs. Ruben already wrote a how-to tutorial. I did an interview with Ruben. I need to release those other ones, but I've already done a lot of the education part.
cool.
Now it's about getting the message out. It's not a trending topic because there's not that many art whales. They don't really, I feel like they don't exactly understand what I'm trying to do.
Now we have a lot of dev whales. Finding dev whales, that's easy. Um, finding whales outside of that can sometimes be a little trickier. All right, so
Yeah.
I want to go introduce Julia K. Ponsford. Julia K. Ponsford is, she also goes by the Discord handle of Peachy Mod. She's one of the senior moderators that's part of the Minnow Support Project. She's one of the most stable and, all right, hold on, somebody's having mic issues. Um,
I'm hearing a lot of
yeah, it's a lot
scratching.
of scratching. So Stella, if you're moving around, you got to stop. But Peachy is one of like just the most solid, even keeled members of the senior leadership team that's in here. One of the reasons why I thought that she would be an immediate fit for helping to co-host this was she created. I now know who this is. I can mute them. She created or co-created with Vashmore the a movie called The Juju Gum Conspiracy, which I actually found quite entertaining. To be honest, I haven't watched the last three episodes, but it's been on my radar to go complete the series. Other than that introduction and a very, very warm welcome to you, do you want to go share some of your background? How did you get here? How are you involved in Steemit? And what's your involvement in the art community in general?
Sure. So my blog is at Julia K. Ponsford. I've been on Steemit since June. I joined. My boyfriend told me about it. He heard about it on YouTube, and we got on. And I think within a week we were like totally hooked. Like I logged in June, and I almost have never logged out since I joined last June. It's been like a nonstop flow of Steemit. And what really drew me in about it was I saw that there were lots of like art contests, lots of people collaborating, and it just seemed like a great place to sort of share creativity. And I was also really inspired by the ability to be able to reward other artists for what they do, because there's the trope of the sort of starving, struggling artist.
Yeah.
And we all want to help each other as much as we can, and Steemit actually gives you the ability to do that. So yeah, I joined. I started an art contest called Art Explosion. I'm on week 30 of that now, and that's been just blooming like crazy. I'm getting more and more entries every week. Super high level art as well. Like I'm totally impressed. My mind is blown every week when I look at the entries. And and yeah, I've started also an art curation as part of my community project for Minnow Support. So every week I try to look for new artists who have undervalued posts, who need a little bit of exposure, and I do a bit of a weekly roundup and curate those artists.
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly checked in on some of the Art Explosion posts, um, and the sheer talent that is on Steam, and I just for this is it's a weird semantic point, but just for the entire audience, Steemit is a website. Steemit.com is a website. Steemit is a company, and Steem is a blockchain. So as I talk about things, I'm not like mispronouncing Steemit. The Steem blockchain is something that we are all a part of. We are not all a part of Steemit because that is a company, or Steemit.com is a website. So just to be clear on what it is that I'm describing, the people that are on Steem, all the Steemians that are around the world, or the Steamers, depending on which you prefer, I've just been so massively impressed by how much artistic talent this group has. Um, I've called Steam sort of the Broken Hearts Club, and I've done that for months now. But part of being in the Broken Hearts Club is that you have these passions and you have this desire to let them out. And normally that happens through art, through music, through poetry, through writing. And I think part of having some of this weird tragic backstory to how people find Steam ends up really creating a class of artist that is quite unparalleled. I mean, the concentration of highly talented musicians and artists that have found their way to Steam kind of floors me, and I grow more and more impressed, not less so. This place is pretty phenomenal. Is that both of your experiences, Stella and Julia?
Oh, it's insane. Every day I'm finding a new artist and I'm like, "Oh my God. This person is so great. They're blowing my mind." Like it's it's I I can't, and we don't even have a lot of people on Steam yet comparatively. So it's just the beginning. It's only going to keep growing.
Yeah, we are certainly starting. I think we hit maybe 750,000 accounts, somewhere in that
Yeah,
range.
I saw close to 800,000 the last I checked, maybe 780 or
Yeah,
something like that.
somewhere in that range. So, we haven't even hit a million accounts, and a lot of people have more than one account. So we're not even at, we're probably not even at 700,000 people. We're probably shy of 500,000 people that are part of this. Um, so we're still at the very beginning stages. I know for the folks that have been here for 2 years, we're like, how can you still call it beta? This is crap and nonsense. We are tiny, like there's a billion people on Facebook, Instagram, and these other ones are going to be freaking massive. So we're still small, we're still growing, we're still figuring it out. And it's not going to be long. I mean, I think the floodgates are really going to start opening, and I think people are going to be very, very attracted to Steam and all the capabilities that this place has.
Can I ask some art? Can I go first?
Yeah,
Mhm.
go for it.
Okay, because I feel like there's so many artists and we need to get to them. I feel this kind of stress about that,
All right.
not being able to get to everyone.
No, no, no. So, yeah, I figured 15 minutes for an intro, and now we have about an hour and a half to go showcase the different artists. And then at the end of that, we'll have maybe 15 minutes for closing thoughts, too.
Okay, often nice coin, also known as overkill coin, was I think one of the first ones crypto artists I saw, and he was doing this crazy stuff in 2014. So I have a few questions for him. Overkill coin, everyone knows him, I think, by now.
No, I mean, we still keep having a very new audience. So I want to make sure that, so this is Often Nice Coin in Discord. So I'm going to unmute him. Often Nice, welcome to the show. You are on msp-waves radio. This is Steem Visions, and it's great to have you here. Can you talk or say hello?
Hello, good to be
All
here.
right. So we got
All right.
in Discord, he's Often Nice Coin. On Steam, he is Overkill Coin. And do you have a piece of art? I want to right now. I put up on my screen for the people that are watching the screen share on msp-waves.com/listen. I opened up my screen so that that's now visible. Can you give me a picture or something that I can go kind of put on that screen? Right now, it's just my desktop, but I'd like to see some of your work.
Oh, right
Um,
here.
I can grab something while
yeah,
you guys
Got
chat.
his video.
yeah, that would be ideal if Julia could
This is
grab
his
something.
best work.
The video.
The beginning.
I'm trying to.
I have a top 10 posts that I made for last year's posts. If you scroll, I don't know, about a month back, then you'll find it, and it has my top 10 posts from last year. That's pretty much a must see as far as introducing what I do.
All right, I'm looking forward if Steemit will allow me.
Okay.
Often overkill coin. I just gonna call you that. When did you start your art career, and have you been freelance for like your entire career, or?
No, really, I got my start in early 2000s at a web marketing company, and um, I was kind of naive throughout my career, thinking that my employers would help me get to the next level, or my employers would kind of push me towards excellence as far as creativity goes. But then I found out pretty quickly that they just wanted me to do what it took to pay the bills and nothing else. No frills, get it done. And I started to go off on my own in 2004. I quit that company, and it was on and off for about 3 years. I did some travel and got a taste of independence. Then I was back in the cubicle for 2007, and since 2007, I've been a free range graphic artist and animator. Um, so since then, it's been pretty much since 2007. I've been on my own. Since 2010, I've been strictly freelancing. I was contracting for a number of years, but that was bad too. So I'm still tied to the corporate world a little too tightly, and working towards that goal of establishing myself in the crypto space.
Cool.
And how long have you been on Steemit?
Since mid-June of last year.
And have you found that it's sort of sparked more creativity in you, or it's changed your artwork in any way?
It has. It was almost like a sink or swim situation. I was at the point where I was for 2 or 3 weeks, I was just doing memes, just doing really basic stuff, kind of afraid to really jump in because what if I didn't get the upvotes would that I thought would justify my work or
Mm-hmm.
my time? And when I started to let that go, fortunately, I did have some connections, but those were kind of gradual as well. But when I let that go, I started to see the benefits of it. And it's still up and down as far as upvotes or traffic flow to my posts, but um, I'm doing a lot better than I was. I am moving forward.
Yeah, I think there's definitely that scary aspect, probably for everyone on Steemit, but for artists as well. When you put a lot of yourself into a piece of work and then you put it on Steemit, you look at the monetary value and you have to like not conflate that with the actual value of your work, if you know what I mean. You see your post at $2 or $3 and you're like, oh, I worked so hard on that. It's you have to kind of disassociate and say like, okay, that has nothing to do with the actual worth of my post. I think
Yeah,
art is such a personal thing for people that they take it a little bit harder.
That you guys, it has more to do with friends and a social fabric with this, like, if when you build your tribe, that's what I learned halfway through the year when I first started. It's about building a tribe, and your tribe must include a whale or an orca. If you're, like, I mean, that's the sad reality.
Well, that's
Like,
certainly.
if all of your tribe is like in the lower caste system, you'll never earn anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that,
Yeah,
I mean, that takes time. So, you can't, most people don't come here and have that on day one. They normally have to go build it and figure it out. Um, and that, but that's, frankly, that's part of why we created the Minnow Support Project is to start getting a tribe and a community around people so that could actually, for me, it took 8 months to a year for some of the people in here, it's taken, a couple weeks and then they're really up and running. So having all these different communities, I think, goes a long way to help make that possible.
We need to find each other. That's the first step.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Julia, do you want to? Is that how we're going to do it? How long does each person have?
Well,
I think we have about 15 minutes each. Is that right,
no,
Agro?
I think it's even less. I think it's maybe 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
If we have,
Maybe Julia chooses the next artist and we continue going that direction, or
Sure.
I like the vote dealer picture. I'm gonna try to, as they come in through chat, I'm gonna try to post these. I don't know if you're also watching the msp-waves.com/listen on the, because that has a feed of my computer screen. So I'm also trying to go through some of the art that people are posting in here to go show what these look like. So I've played a couple movies, gone through a couple of the images that they've put together. A nice little flying dog. I don't know, just neat things that Overkill Coin has created.
Overkill Coin, do you have any projects that you're working on right now that you wanted to plug?
Well, I'm finishing. I have to scale down because I'm so busy. One of the things I hate about the corporate world is I have some severe dry spells as well as peak seasons, so it's really messing up my posting lately. So I'm trying to finish up some kind of public domain icons for dolphin, whale, minnow, and orca. That's kind of a small project. I have my third rant that I have been working on the side. If you've seen the first two, if you haven't seen the first two, you should probably go see them so you can get an idea of my wild side. I do the voiceovers for those. And let's see. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I did an animated banner for Acid Yo back in September, I think. And there was a really annoying spammer. It may have been just a bot, but I went off on that guy just for kicks, for fun, whatever. But that's one of my best pieces. I really want to lean towards the comedic side rather than
yes,
Your
super
posts always
detailed
make
or
me smile like every time I read them. So
dark
Thank you.
comic.
Yeah. So I have my third spam rant where I actually have the spams from 5 spammers, and I kind of line them up and sarcastically reply to each one before flagging them. And the flag button does some pretty crazy things.
and that's another thing I love about you is your spam policing is like so excellent. I've seen you come into my comment sections and like put your little spam icon on people and give them like a talking to, and it's unfortunate that we have to do that, but at least if you're going to do it, you may as well do it like with a bit of a funny with a bit of comedy.
Yeah, sometimes if there's a big article or there's an overwhelming amount of information, I'll just go and harass the spammers.
Yeah,
So I'm contributing.
That's what you got to do sometimes.
All right.
Yes.
So Overkill, I think that's all that we got for right now. We got to keep moving through people, but this has been fun to watch your videos. It's been fun I've been playing the Overkill Coin rant where you're mocking this little spammer by turning him into a can of spam stick figure pig. That's pretty enjoyable, and like some of this feels Monty Python-esque. So. I don't know. This is fun. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for being sharing your
Good to be here.
Your humor, and I don't know. Keep making fun of these guys that are adding no value.
Will do.
Yeah, don't stop doing that ever.
Yeah. All right. So who are we bringing on next, Julia? And I'm gonna actually clear up this place. Overkill. I'm gonna bring you back to the main audience channel so that I know one by one who we're going through here. But thanks for joining us, and this was a neat exhibit of your work. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So who's up next, Julia?
I'd like to speak to Everlove.
All right. So I'm gonna unmute Everlove. Now, we're not giving people very much notice. So if you're one of the artists that's on the show, please, please, please make sure that you're ready to go. Like, if you're not Everlove, go take a bathroom break now or something, because your name might get called at any minute. And just make sure that you're ready, because I'd hate for there to be some dead air. So I've put up the Everlove just shared a piece of work. I've put this onto my screen. Maybe I can even blow this up a little bit. And oh, and here's another one. So I'm sure that we'll be talking through some of these. But let's go. Everlove, can you speak? Is your mic working?
Oh, is she on mute, perhaps?
No, I took her off.
Ah,
I can hear
I hear
you.
you.
Welcome, welcome.
Yay! Finally made it.
welcome.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
That's funky.
Hmm.
Um,
Hey, I just wanted to share. Hey, I've been on Steemit since August of 2016, and I started a couple of initiatives on here. Art is kind of my thing. I really just live art. I like all kinds of art, lots of physical things, you know, making things out of trash, basically, is what I really love, things that are very sustainable.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so and you know, just garbage.
But you turn it into treasure.
That way, I mean, we have to have computers, so you know, we still have art things that we do need to, you know, still, you know, pull up things for because we have to use electricity. But it really gives me an opportunity to reach out. I also live in community, so I have an opportunity to work with other people. And to me, it's really important that we just bring our best to the table. And so I've made a collaboration, which is called the Collaborative Art Journey, in November of 2016.
My favorite.
We had a real great showing. It's art. Be able to see. Don't have a link for it at the moment, but you'll be able to see that if you go to my page. Really, it's really what I love about it is that it's collaboration. It's not. So not like putting people against each other, trying to choose the best. Everybody feels good about participating because they're just appreciated for. They don't have to be well known in order to get the best of us. They don't have to have anything special just to. You know, it builds community, which is one of the most important parts about being on Steemit for me. Really, really love that we're just building a great artist community, that we're coming together, being strong, supporting each other, giving each other an immediate audience. And, you know, just really being able to, where you don't make them any other way. You know, it just gives you an immediate opportunity to be with people. Really important, you know, not to be judged, but just to be accepted.
Yeah.
So
I think the collaborative. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Stella.
Oh, what?
I thought that was Stella.
I'm like, I was thinking about the trash. I'm in a abandoned. I'm in like a trash heap. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh, I was going to say, Everlove, the Collaborative Art Journey. It's one of the first like art sort of projects that I found when I came on Steemit, and it made me feel so welcomed to be a part of that. So I just want to thank you for that, because
What was it? I don't remember.
The Collaborative Art Journey.
Yeah, so I put out a picture, something that I've taken a picture of, and then I just offer it to everybody to collaborate on. So to take that and turn it into something else.
Cool.
I'm going to put up the most recent post here for people.
Oh, great. There's somebody who makes a piece of music out of it.
There we go.
Piece of music out of it. Make a story out of it. Make a GIF out of it. Add photographs. You can change it digitally. You can print it out, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's so free form and open-ended.
Yeah, make a poem.
What happened? There's no one talking.
Yeah, we have. It looks like
over 600 pieces of now
Everlove
artists.
We've been having a little bit of challenge.
Artists or something like that.
Everlove, we've been having a little bit of a challenge with your sound kicking in and out. Or can you stand a little closer, or get? Is there a place where you have a slightly better internet than where you are currently? And now,
No, it's not working.
and now I've lost her audio.
Yeah, my internet's pretty iffy. I kind of live not really in the country, but someplace where our internet is not always the best. Let me see if I can move closer to the modem.
What?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that there's another started, and it's called Artists in Bloom. And Artists in Bloom, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, you sound better. Yes.
I moved to the other room. So Artists in Bloom is for children. It's not really a competition and it's not a collaboration. It's just like a gallery. Put the children's art out there and start showing what it is that they're doing and give them a place to exhibit. And so we've had 4 galleries now, and we have about 13 kids involved. Children, of people who are here. There's some children that already have their own accounts, participating, and they're getting really super excited about it.
I've seen some of these, and they're absolutely adorable.
Yeah, they're really cute. The kids are really, really excited about it because they don't really have a place on this platform, even though there's a lot of things going on. Art's something that a lot of people can relate to, so it's really fun to be able to share.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed is on the new collaborative art journey posts, you're adding a link for people to give permission to show the art at Steam Fest. Did you want to tell people a little bit about how that works?
We don't even know where Art at Steam Fest is going to be. We don't even know if there's going to be Art at Steam Fest. I'm guessing there'll be a Steam Fest 3, but I don't know anything about when, where, or how. Last year we had our own venue. So it was, the first time that we did that, we pulled tons of art together and put it up on the walls. We had an open mic in there. We had people, coming in and making workshops. Ophelia Fu and Tim Said and Paolo Beneforti all had workshops in there. We did some yoga in there. We just kind of made it a nice hangout space. My hopes is that if we do it again, we can make it even more amazing than it was this last year. And so I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to put their art in now, to start putting their stuff up for exhibit. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to exhibit it because I don't know what's going to come up, but already asking for permission to do so and having people submit their things. And the reason that I want to do that is because at the last minute, it took me a couple of weeks just to pull all the art links together. So I have a little spot on my forums of both of these, the collaboration and the Artists in Bloom, where you can fill in the form. And so people, as they're submitting their art on my post, they also go to this form and they give permission by submitting this form for me to exhibit it. They show me what picture they want to exhibit, what country they're from, what the title of it is, who I should give credit to, so that all the work is already done. So all I have to do is pull up that spreadsheet and print out this information, and everybody's already going to be there. So I wanted to offer, I wanted other artists also who are on here running initiatives to be able to look at that and see if it's something that they're interested in doing, just because it would make it easier at the last minute. It is one extra step in the process, of submitting a piece of art, but you don't miss the final call. Like last year, we're at the last minute. Does anybody else want to do this? Anybody else want to be on this exhibit? And, some people just weren't on, or they, for whatever reason, didn't see my post. And so, it kind of got left out.
Yeah, I was one of those
and I don't want that to happen.
At the last minute, I was like, I have to fill this thing out right now. I was a scrambler last year. So I started submitting already to your
which is great. Yeah, if you do that already, it makes it super simple for all of us. And then, I already have permission. I've already made it clear that if you put something on my page, you're giving me permission. Mm-hmm. But I want to be sure that, that I get the specific permission for, whatever I want to do with the art. I'm hoping that it'll be a thing at Art at Steam Fest too, but, it could come, I don't know what else will come up. Don't really know. But I do want to have the opportunity to be able to share, when we've had, over, like I say, 600 artists in the collaborative art journey, or 600 pieces of art, and over 97 or 129 artists that have participated. So we have a lot. And it just keeps growing, and every week we get new and amazing artists.
Where's the link for that, Everlove?
For the collaborative art journey?
Is that...
I put one up for the newest one right here.
Sure.
It's just coming in chat now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And is this the...
Sharing,
so if they... But this is the collaborative art journey. Is this what's going to be the exhibition as well?
Yeah, the collaborative art journey and the artist in bloom, they're two separate initiatives.
Okay.
So the collaborative art journey is the one where everybody takes my picture, turns it into something. And then the artist in bloom is the children's art. So hopefully both of those will be, but should an exhibit opportunity come through.
Awesome. All right. I think we're gonna put Yusimon up on deck, and hopefully Julia and Stella can help keep the artist that's going to come on next. It would be ideal if they know that they're coming on next, so that they can have a couple different links or something prepared and ready to share. But Everlove, I think we're at the end of our time. Is there one last sort of closing thought of either a mission, something you'd want to share, or what we should be keeping in mind, or what inspires you? Anything along those lines that to help us end this section on your art.
Thank you. I would really just like to encourage the new people to coming in. I have a lot of minnow people who kind of connect with me for some reason. A lot of people on my posts are new. I don't have a lot of whales following me or anything like that, but I seem to attract a lot of new people. And, I just want them to know that this is, when I started out doing this, I had sense on my posts. People didn't know I was doing it. They, even when I did have people, I still had new people. So the votes were very small, but I just kept doing it. And you just keep doing it, and you just keep doing it. And you find something that you're really good at, something that you're passionate about, something that you love. And for me, I just focus on the fun of it and forget about the rewards. Because if you keep going for the reward, you start devaluing yourself, because it gets kind of frustrating. But what the deal is, if I go for building community and for building good friendships and for building, a really strong base of people of support, that's the best. So just be consistent, be consistent, and just keep at it. Make lots of comments and reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a post. One of my favorite posts I've ever written was how I made 7 cents in 5 posts. And it was a very snarky post. So yeah.
And that's what happened. I feel like if we bring our passions to the table, and that's one thing about the collaborative art journey, it's not about a competition. It's about being collaborative. I don't pay anybody to come and play. They're not getting rewards. They're not getting any kind of, incentives as far as monetary goes. So I know the people who are playing actually are passionate. They're not there because they're going to get paid or they're going to win something. They're there because they love it. And I feel that's the way community is best built, is, everybody bringing their passions to the table and sharing it. I'm really grateful for everybody who plays with me, because it's just like a special gift. Every time somebody gives me a post, it's like, oh my God, they gave me another gift. And it's just such a treat.
And you leave the best
I'm really blessed to be able
to
be hosting this, and to be honored to have all of these artists playing with me.
All right. Well, Everlove, thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming onto the show. Thanks for helping to build an art community. Thanks for the exhibit posts and collecting artists and helping to highlight some Steemian art and through collaboration, as well as bringing kids on and helping to share some of the art that they've been creating. It's awesome.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm really excited to see everybody else who's on here. All my buddies. Got my buddies on here. I'm excited.
Awesome. All right.
I love you all.
Well,
thank you so much, Everlove.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation.
All right. That was Everlove. I'm going to bring her back to the main channel there. I'm going to go I'm going to unmute Yusimon, and hopefully you're going to be able to go say hello to us. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh,
hello.
Oh, yay!
Hey, you. Well,
thank you very much.
It's great to have you here. Do you have a post or something that you want to make sure that I'm sharing on the screen share so that everybody can see that?
Yeah, I have one.
Also, I'll throw in there, I did make a video that has a lot of his art in it. People can watch and see a bunch at the same time.
All right, I'll play that in the background, then I'll go pull up some of Yusimon's art as well.
Yeah, I put a link there.
So what?
Hands of Mr. Sims.
What inspires you?
Oh my God, that's a hard question for me, but I'm just trying to flow, and I start to draw pain in all the room, and I start to look like a crazy guy trying to do something with a meaning. Yes, because when I'm doing some pain, I don't know what to do, but I'm just follow my thoughts, my mind, you know.
And it's
I'm,
working.
It's working.
I don't know. I'm just a weird guy that I like to paint.
Yeah, you were another one of the first artists I found when I joined, and I was like, "Whoa, this guy's stuff is so cool."
Yes, yes.
I mean,
Oh, Julia,
Realize how
thank you very
awesome.
much.
the one you linked for the Hands of Mysticism EOS, like, just strikes me as a giant Rorschach test. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you see, Agrod?
Um,
We can analyze you a little bit.
I my answer is going to be pretty weird.
Let's
It's
I,
hear
so
it.
so
weird.
in the middle here, I see a face, and the EOS logo at the top of it looks to be sort of a crown. Uh,
Yeah,
but
that's
but
right.
then
That's
under
right.
under so it looks bearded because of the shading. So I see sort of a King EOS. It looks almost a little clownish to me, mostly because of the nose and a little bit of this kind of weird anime smile that I see. Um, but then underneath
The,
that, I see this kind of gray shaded area that they look like two teardrops next to each other, which are kind of boob like to me. So I'm seeing kind of this weird, this king with a crown with boobs. There's legs down here, arms out to the side. So I see this kind of like mixed gender person king, and maybe this whole thing starts turning into like a giant funky gold robe that is a little bit mystic. Uh,
oh, the first time that it was the hands. You see the
I
hands?
do see the hands.
Two hands. Yeah, because I was drawing my hand. In the first time I was drawing my hand, but in some point I don't know. I some fingers are very unproportional. I don't know if that word exists in English,
Yep,
but though that was a hand. But in some point I grabbed a mango, mango fruit,
yep,
and I cook the mango and I splash the mango into the cardboard and I start to drop a yellow paint like a crazy, and oh my God, in Photoshop, yeah, the hand doesn't exist anymore. What happened with this? No. The next day I was like, what a crazy, this is so crazy, because when I take the picture and I put the picture in Photoshop, I start to play with the two sides, and wow, this is a king. It's like a king, and I put like a crown in the head, and I start to see like wow, a lot of monsters there. Pretty amazing for me. 3 days doing that stuff.
Yeah, you could look at that image and just keep seeing new things like forever. It's so complex. It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, dude.
It's like seeing into someone's mind. I feel like when you look at you Simon's work, feel that it's a direct is he's a pure artist instead of like a graphic designer or something. He's like a pure artist where the stuff is all like this sea of weirdness that emerge organically. I think
It's
that's
like
why I love
stream of
it.
consciousness almost.
Yes, yes.
I also want to add,
Thank you.
if I continue one step further, it looks like I see feet that are just above the EOS logo at the bottom, and then
Yeah, fingers.
it does look weird. It in some ways it looks like, in part because he's too short to be standing, and I see feet and I see something that looks like sort of legs in this weird, like, messed up lotus position. It kind of makes me think that this is a king that's either sitting Because like here might be his thighs. I'm not quite sure because his feet look like they're inverted here. But it looks like this sort of weird king deity of Eos that is in. It looks kind of like a meditative posture. So maybe these big gold swirly things are his knees. So it looks like there's some actual meditation that's going on here. So the Acid King, yeah, it's a bit of an Acid Eos King.
There's so
Yeah,
oh my god.
and I
Yusuman,
studied. Yeah, tell me, tell
somebody
me.
somebody asked you in chat how could they get a print of yours?
Oh, that's hard because you can print. It's Creative Commons 4.0. You can
Okay.
print whatever you want. And I don't know, maybe that file. It's so big. Maybe
Can I jump
you
in here
can.
for just a second? Because I have a solution. If we put our QR codes on our artwork, then like when people print it out, they can send you like a tip to the
Yeah,
artist.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was that's like my
If
whole idea.
if you
Art,
want, you can tip me.
So I'm going through a couple of these other ones. I see sort of a
so you Simon, they're asking how much should I send you for the privilege to print it?
I don't know. It is just a tip. I'm not asking for specifically. I don't know. It's come from your heart. You know. Where
Yeah.
is sound right now? Yeah, that EOS have a mango. It's not a completely mango, but yes, it's mango.
Tip the cost of a mango in your country? I don't know.
No, right now here, right now here the mango it's free. It's free in the streets. You can find a mango easily, and you can see people hanging in a tree, and a mango tree, with bags with a lot of mangoes.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
sounds delicious.
yeah, it's amazing. It's delicious. And yeah, I don't know. I studied graphic design for 3 years, and I worked in an advertising agency, earning $8 per month for 8 years. And then I discovered Steamy by some friends who were investing in some crypto. When I became unemployed, I began to try and search in internet, and I found Steamy. That was a year ago. Yeah, yeah, a year ago.
Um, I
That's my story right now.
Cool. So you Simon, I have one question. How do you pronounce your name?
You Simon.
Simon.
I
See,
always
you
thought
How long
it
have
was
you
Simon.
like a Jamaican. It was like you say mom.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Freedom. Yeah, I like to talk like a Jamaican guy, like Bob Marley. Freedom. Yeah.
how long have you been painting? We just need to know. This is like you're a serious painter, I can tell. Like you know what you're doing. How long have you been doing this? Painting.
Well, I started to paint. I started to paint when I was a little kid. I don't know, but in some point, I can say almost all my life, I'm painting. I'm not. I don't know. I just. I like to paint every day. Yeah, since I was a
Yeah.
kid, a little kid, there was something like a video game, like a Nintendo for me, like a kid paint. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, since I was a kid, a little kid, un pequeño niño.
Um, Julia, who's coming on next, or who should be on? Who I need to notify people who's on deck.
Oh, who can we bring on next? Stella, do you have someone you want to pull on next?
You go ahead and choose because I chose the last one.
Okay, I'm gonna go for Reinhard Schmid.
All right. So Reinhard, you have about a 3 minute warning here, just so you know, and then we'll be closing up with you, Simon, and heading over to Reinhard Schmidt. So Stella's posting a couple more of these images in here.
Thank you very much, guys.
Well, you're not done yet. So what I'm seeing like I see this as like a camel head. I mean, I don't know how much I'm supposed to go try to interpret these. I mean, am I supposed to look at this as an abstract piece of art? Should I be trying to find like the mask or the image, or it's almost like a camel corn because I can see this like the orange spike coming out of its head.
Yeah, that was something that it's completely in my mind. I start to drop the black paint and I wait for one day, and the other day I see the black paint, and I don't know, maybe because I like some Japanese animation, anime,
Yeah.
and I look like a mask for. Yeah, I remember some animation with a black mask, and I start to create like another planet. You can see like a pyramid. I don't know if I'm pronouncing
It's so cool.
pyramids.
I love
Yeah,
that one
but
so much.
it's some aliens. It's some aliens, but the heads are like a planet, a new planet. For me,
Yeah.
that was my principal idea.
So cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Seriously cool. I mean, oh my god.
And then I have another one. This looks to me like a purple sea warrior s. It looks from the eyes. It looks like she's painted a bit for war. She has either fins or some kind of limb. They look a little aquatic. This looks like a barnacle on her. Not barnacle, but I don't know. I don't know words. Your art is outside of my vocabulary.
But wait a minute. I don't know what is the art that you can put again the art.
Yeah, he's not watching the stream, Agrod.
It's this one.
I'm,
I put it into.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. That is a mecha. I don't know, a mecha, a robot, but it is a mix. It is a mix because that was for a contest. I remember that for a contest about mechas, like Godzilla, or yes, like a cyborg contest.
It looks kind of like an elf a little bit,
Yeah,
like a fairy or something.
yeah, the ears. It's like I like that. Yeah, I'm gonna start to like that because almost all my arts and drawings I don't like. I don't like my arts. Are ugly and disgusting
Oh my
at some
god.
point.
No.
But yeah,
no.
that when I'm working in some, I like the thing because the feeling that it's amazing. I like to do that, but when I finish the thing, I start to, oh my god, that's pretty bad.
You like
And
the process.
Process.
Of it.
I think a lot
yeah, and I put in the trash all those things. Always go in the trash because I don't like the well.
I think a lot of artists share that kind of feeling. I know I have the exact same feeling. Like I want the elation of discovery and organically creating, but when that stops, the feeling dies, and then I don't like the result. Is that kind of?
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
It's kind of
understand?
like almost meditative when you're working on art. Like you get into this
Yeah,
zone and you're not
yeah.
thinking about the final result maybe that much. So yeah, I can see what you mean.
A lot of artists that work, I work subconsciously as well, and so I have the identical experience like what he's describing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have a hard time describing my art process or even my music making process to people who are really trained because I never trained in anything. So I'm like, I don't know, I just start something and then it's like looking at clouds. Sometimes you see
Yes.
something pop out at you and you go like, "Oh, there's a different direction." And it's really difficult to describe that inner experience that you're having when you're
If
in
you
the
don't,
midst.
if you're not a creator and you don't understand that process, then people, they're not going to understand it on a visceral level. It's going to
Mm,
be foreign, right?
mhm. Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah.
I've been flipping through this video that's a 5-minute video, and there wasn't quite enough time,
I
but I've been going through and kind of,
I put a link from Bitcoin.com, and the guy put my art there if you want to see that.
Don't you think?
Nice.
but just looking through some of your process.
Wow.
It's been kind of fun. Yeah. So he's got a link to your art. All right. Well, all right. You Simon, do you want to share some sort of closing thoughts? What do you want people to walk away from your art feeling or knowing? Like how if you could custom design an experience for us, what do you want us feeling?
Well, I don't know. In some part, I very close. But you want to know what is uh, my followers? Are you talking
Yeah.
about my
How
followers?
do you yeah, how do you want them to respond to your art? How do you want them to feel sort of looking at the projects and the work that you create?
Yeah. Well, the first thing in my mind is people feel like happy. Yeah, my art it is not the type of art that you will be smiling because it's like a horror movie or a nightmare and all. But I'm always trying to be balanced, and I like to read comments and respond all people happy. I just want that the people always happy and love. Or yeah, that's
All
my thing.
all right.
Make people happy. I can sing you a karaoke, and just think that I want that you are always happy.
All right, you've been listening to you, Simon, or you, Simon, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you for sharing your art with the Steam
Very
blockchain.
much.
Thank you for sharing with us here today. And I'm going to keep moving on so we can get to the next artist. But this has been a pleasure to have supported you, and I've enjoyed your work. And I know that the Minnow Support Project community stands behind you. And welcome to the show, and thanks for coming here. And
No, thank you.
well,
Thank you,
Gracias,
Yusaman.
all right.
Gracias.
gracias,
Uh,
gracias,
Muchas
Julia,
gracias.
gracias. Oye, todos hablan español, Spanish.
all right, there you go. You, Simon. I'm going to go bring on Reinhard Schmid next, as Julia requested. And then, Stella, why don't you tell the next artist who's up on deck before we go?
Okay. Anif
All
on deck.
right, Anif on deck. So, Reinhard, can you click in and say hello?
Hello, everyone.
All right, fantastic. This is Reinhard. You're listening to MSP-Waves Radio. It is right around noon, so we're just about halfway through the show. I have a handful more artists. I invited Zipporah, which she wasn't on the original list, but I want to make sure that she gets some time as a very talented photographer. And but this is now your time, Reinhard. Reinhard, do you have some images, some pictures, videos, or anything else that you want to point me to so that I can have those on this screen to share?
I'm going to throw up some posts for him, Agrod, because I think he's on a tablet and it's a bit difficult for him. So he sent me some posts.
All right, perfect.
Thanks a lot, Julia.
Yeah, it's no problem. And it's nice. It's great having you on. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what your art is, what you create, and why you're doing it specifically on the Steam platform?
Okay, you come off and on, so I'm not.
You're cutting a little bit for me too, actually, Agrod.
I can kick out and join right back in. do you want to share with us why what are you creating? Why are you creating it? And why are you doing this on Steam?
First,
This is coming in super garbled for me.
okay, is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
And
I'm barely getting any audio. Ladies, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
I can. Reinhardt is cutting out for me now too.
Yeah, I can't hear Reinhardt.
I wonder if he needs to step back away from his mic maybe a little bit or a little bit closer.
Reinhardt, we're having some technical difficulties with your audio. This is live radio, people. Sometimes this happens, and we're doing this with people from all over.
can you hear me?
I can hear you some. You are still garbled.
How about now?
That sounds a little better.
Like this?
Yep.
So I'll just start from the beginning. Years now?
I can't hear anything.
I don't hear anything either.
Oh no. Is it possible that we can pull someone else on and then maybe someone can do a sound test with Reinhardt?
I guess I'm next.
I don't see Rondon isn't here. Oh, Ron dude is here. Ron, can you Ron, can you do a sound check again with Reinhardt? All right, Reinhardt, I'm going to drag you into the msp-waves waiting room. Hopefully you can go work with somebody in there to go test your audio again and make sure that that's working. In the meantime, Stella, who did you say we're pulling up next? Elo?
Wanaf, WANAF.
Oh, all right. They weren't. Actually, I'm a little weary of doing that because they weren't in the waiting room, so I don't know if they've had their audio checked either. Maybe Wanaf and Reinhardt, you two can try talking to one another.
Hey, Alexandra Vart, then if.
All right, let's go bring Alexandra on. Alexandra, hopefully you're going to have enough of a notice to be able to talk with us here. But again, I want to put out Menno. I can see that you're in the audience, and so is Ron Doot. And Pachichi, you're in here too. If one of you could try to help with doing some sound checks for Wanif and for Reinhardt, that'd be fantastic. In the meantime, I'm going to go bring Alexandra. How do I say it?
Alexandra Vart.
Alexandra Art. So I'm going to take you off of server mute. And Alex, are you there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, perfect. Fantastic. Welcome to Steem Visions. It's great to have you on the air.
Okay, I was nervous about this without the sound check and everything.
Okay, well,
Okay.
You sound great.
yeah, it's coming through loud and clear.
Thank you, guys.
Can I jump in and do a quick introduction?
Yeah, please.
I feel like I found. Probably Julia found her first because she finds all the artists first, and I was late to the game.
Yeah, Julia found me first.
I feel like Alexandra's art was like mind blowing, and I thought to myself, like, why is this amazing artist? I'm going to show you one of the ones that I had to buy it. Okay, I mean, I have the painting that you see right there. Like, come on, this is like amazing. It's huge too. Is a pure artist. It's just stuff.
How big is
She has incredible creativity. So let's take it away.
the file? The file size itself looks big. How big is the actual piece of art?
50 per 70 centimeters is this one. And a lot of mine. And this is the small size because I don't like to work on small size.
Is this like a size of a person then? No,
Half a
centimeters.
person. I don't know.
It's half a person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes.
Nice stuff.
Okay, so about the way you found me, guys, that was really, really funny because I avoided social media for a lot of years, and it was really interesting how I found Steemit and how it all happened for me.
which was what?
Because I avoided social media for a lot of years. I didn't want to post my art online. My mom was posting my art online, and then my boyfriend found Steemit, and I started posting, but without any type of expectation. And I met Julia first, and her amazing contest, and then Sloticorn and Stella found me. So yeah, that was a roller coaster for me because I am not used to anything like this. I'm not used to sharing my art so much and engaging with so many people.
Well, what gave you the courage to do that on Steam? Like, was it just people started forcing you to do it, or what? Like, what makes it so that you're okay doing this here?
Oh no, I started without any expectation, and I think that was also a good thing because I was almost sarcastic about it. I said, nothing could come out of this. I will just post and see what happens. But I was not expecting anything, and I love how I connect with a lot of people. I really did not believe this is possible to do through internet or through social media to really connect with people.
Do you feel like the community has been receptive? Do you feel like this has been a healthy place for your art so far?
Yes, it's been a very healthy place for my art and for myself as a person because I'm inspired by people a lot and by connection between people. And I was so sure that social media is so shallow and you cannot create a real connection with someone. And yeah, Steam, it surprised me a lot. It's the only social media I actually use because all the others I just post once a month or whenever I remember about them.
So can I jump in here and ask a few questions about how do you get inspired to do your paintings?
Well, I have curiosities usually. My paintings are all about curiosity and things I want to discover, and I mix what I know about a subject with what I don't know, and what I know about the subject I paint semi-realistic, and what I don't know I invent uh, visual symbols for everything.
Yeah.
And then I try to discover and learn about my subject through the relations between the known and unknown. I don't know if I'm making sense, and usually I'm ashamed to
No, it makes sense.
explain that
It makes total
to people
sense.
No, it makes sense.
because sometimes people don't have patience for the for the explanation of the art, and I really consider my physical painting to be just a residue, nothing important. The painting, the final object, is not that important for me.
So you're another person who thinks the process is the most exciting part for you. It's not seeing the final result.
Yeah, the process for me is everything because
Yeah.
I can sit for 16 hours painting
Mhm.
without nothing. But
Yes.
if you ask me to read for half an hour or just check posts or do other stuff or research or whatever, I puke after half an hour. Dizzy. But no, really, I'm dead serious. I get dizzy by interaction and other stuff, and but painting for me is like I don't get tired, never
Mhm.
of it.
Wow.
And and I never wanted it to be a career. I never planned to be a career, and I tried to keep it out of markets or out of function. I tried not to do art for something, for a purpose. My art was only my meditation for me to stay sane, because that I'm very emotional also, and it's hard to okay, questions.
No, this is awesome. I
Nervous.
feel like this is showing that artists, the sensitivity on a different scale. Like Alexandra wrote something, she nailed me psychologically. It was kind of scary. I read this post she wrote. She knew everything about me without me telling her.
I
It was
don't know everything. I have so much to learn about you, and I want you to open up to me more because I'm so curious.
part of my issue is I'm a workaholic and I'm many things.
Yeah, I do that with a lot of people, Stella. That's how I learn people. That's how I learn everything, actually.
Through intuition.
Through intuition and through my relationship and my connections, from me to them to the context and all the way around. So I don't know, again, if I'm making sense. I'm Romanian and I'm translating.
No, it makes total sense. I think a lot of creative people do sort of experience the world in a bit more of an intuitive way. Like they're not necessarily seeing everything as it is on the surface. They're looking for those connections, and
Right.
But
it
I
is
don't
a
have a
difficult thing to
rational
explain.
bone. So I'm not rational at all. I'm only intuitive, and that's very hard to be successful or to be I don't know, financially stable. So it's not easy.
Okay. Created this group is like, I feel like we're moving towards a blockchain solution where we can match up rich people who want that deep sensibility from an artist, and then they can get connected to them, and they can also buy their art headed because of what she's describing. Because there's a disconnect.
I cannot sell my art by myself. I just cannot do it, and I'm not practical at all to find solutions to sell my art or to put myself out there, and I don't like it.
This is why Steemit is so perfect. This is why Steemit is so perfect for artists.
It is perfect for
people
artists.
can give you gifts. People can say, "Oh, I like that," and give you a gift, and you don't have to go through all that marketing. Nobody likes the marketing.
Barcodes on our artwork and having that be a solution. What do you guys think?
Can you repeat that?
Put barcodes or QR codes onto artwork.
Or digital wallet, crypto wallet,
yeah.
QR codes, yeah.
Yes, I think that's an amazing idea, but it's it's still waiting to see if someone will donate something or tip you.
Yeah.
Well, part of that is being discovered, and hopefully online exhibits like this can help more people get exposed to your art. If you, I don't know, maybe you could can you put a link of especially the three portraits that are here. I see a woman staring straight at me that's sort of floral. There's the quite psychedelic lying down woman with the bright neon colors. And
then, hold on, I'll get you a link right now.
And then lastly, this
blockchain projects that are emerging right now are solving this exact issue, and I might be building one as well, because I'm finding that this problem needs to be solved, where artists don't want to market themselves. They want to be free to create. So I'm actively working on networking to build a platform.
Okay.
Alexander, did you want to talk about your experiences with Dada? I have your newest Dada post here.
And then,
oh my God, it's amazing. Well, Dada, I'm in love with it, but I get in love with everything at first.
I haven't used it yet. I haven't used it yet. Can you tell people a little bit about what it is?
Julia, you have to use. really. It's
I almost
amazing.
signed up for an account the other day. I went there and I bookmarked it and I was like, I need to sign up for an
You have
account.
to do
Okay,
it,
I'm
you
gonna
guys.
start a sales pitch now
It's so cool.
for Dada. It's so cool because there are limitations with the tool. So it's like a paint interface platform, and there are limitations with the tools. You try to draw a line and instead of getting straight you get it cricket, or instead of getting a line you get 3 dots.
I've heard it's a little bit experimental right now, the
Yes.
painting process.
And I tried for a few days to spell my name and I couldn't even spell my name, and I said, okay, no, I'm gonna stop with this. And then I saw the interviews Stella did, and I said, okay, I have to try it again. And I just renounced control completely. So I did not care if I was getting points instead of lines. I just drew whatever mark I was getting. I was happy with it, and it's really empowering in a way to see all these artists working with the same limitations. So no one is showing off I don't know what technique, or coming with new tools or new mediums. Everyone is the same, and just the idea matters and
Right.
the message of the art.
Right. And just for people who don't understand what it is, Data is a new website. And if I understand correctly, they have a painting drawing interface on the website. And it's meant to be kind of a social network where you communicate with each other through visual images. And then I guess they put up a gallery. And if they sell your images, then they pay you in crypto.
Okay, let me
correct?
Let me interject here a little bit because I got that clarified from Beatrice, the founder of Data NYC. She has created a collection of hand-picked artists whose art is being sold with digital series of 20 copies. But you have to become a part of the community and start drawing in order for Beatrice to discover you. Now, I got a tweet on Twitter yesterday or this morning. Beatrice said about Alexandra, because I'm putting these people together. She said, yes, Alexandra is that good. So basically, I feel like she's going to be accepted into the collection.
Awesome.
That's what the impression that she gave me.
Yeah, I just saw that today too, and I'm very thankful for that.
He was Beatrice is looking for highly talented artists who through the blockchain system. They're going to have a token sale coming up as well.
All right, so we are at 12:20. We have 40 minutes left of the show, and we still have.
I know, we're not fast, huh?
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have maybe 6 artists. So that gives us something like 5 to 7 minutes each. So I'm gonna, not to be rude, Alex, your art is quite compelling, but I'm gonna move on just to be fair to the other folks. I invited other than the 2 co-hosts, I only invited one person to this, and I let the co-hosts sort of choose this panel. The one person that I personally invited was Zipporah, and I want to go invite her on next. And then will one of you pick who's on deck after that?
Did we get Reinhard Schmidt working?
I don't know. The last thing that I saw was that they were still working on their sound system. So
How about Elo Project?
Okay, so Zipporah, I'm going to unmute you now. I'm going to Elo, you are on deck, and then Alex and Art, thank you so much for I think I just butchered your name, but Alex, thank you for coming on.
Not a problem.
Alexandra, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alexandra.
Excellent. All right, so moving on, Zipporah, I'm going to take you off of mute. Can you say hello, Zipporah?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. So I met Zipporah through the Minnow Support Project, and then I saw some of her photography and listened to some of her music. She has performed live on the Minnow Mayor Town Hall with me, and I feel like she's quite creative, quite talented, and I can hear my own voice in the background. So somebody's listening to the show and needs to turn that off in the back or move a mic away from from a audio camera or an audio system. But Zipporah, can you share with us some of what you do and some of what your projects have been, and certainly give us a link or two?
Sure. It's really interesting because I've been trying to work on a post for a few days and I managed to just finish it last night. I will drop it here in the chat. And it's kind of about why photography, what happened that really brought me to the point of photography being my focus, because I do a lot of different things. I'm a visual artist and I've been photographing my whole life, and always been really fascinated with the magic of photography. But it was only one facet of my creative being, which I think was pretty well rounded. And music was a part of that, and visual art. I really, over the last however many years, my visual art, I really love doing like continuous line studies in ballpoint pen, where it really is about like going away from the thought process and just drawing what I see without ever lifting the pen. So yeah, it's really interesting that I just happened to finish that post last night, and I think it's a pretty good explanation of what I do and what I'm trying to do, and what I kind of foresee for Steemit, and what I want to contribute to Steemit, which is really sort of a beautification initiative, which is so awesome to be here and kind of meet all these people via this online exhibit, because I'm completely floored by how much amazing art there is. And I mean, comparatively, I'm super new here. I mean, I guess this account is 45 days old. I had another account under another name for 2 weeks before that, and that one had done pretty well as also. But yeah, I think that, of course, initially when I plugged in, I thought, well, you know, it was a natural thing for me to say, well, I'm just going to lean entirely on my photography. And so I just started plugging into various different photo contests, and was really happy when I saw the photo feed initiative starting, because the photography feed, or the photography tag, is just like completely full of bullshit, quite frankly. And I really wanted to bring something in, because I've been working professionally as a photographer for more than 10 years at this point. And I really believe that if I am, what's the word? If I'm intentional, I can help enhance the Steemit experience, so that people kind of looking in and considering joining don't just see threads of text everywhere, but something visually compelling to draw them in.
Can we talk about Burning Man at all, or are we leaving that behind here?
Sure.
So
Oh no. Ask away.
Zipporah wrote or created, basically did all of the work for a photography exhibit compilation or something of that sort, to like a coffee table book that is all. It's called Dusty Playground, and it's the creation of looking at all these kids that were brought to Burning Man and sort of seeing them interact and experience that world. Burning Man is mostly known as sort of this weird psychedelic experience, but that is not all of what that is. There's 75,000 people that are there. It's a pretty broad experience, and there are some families that choose to bring kids to this. There's a family area as well. And then sort of just looking at how do the kids in the desert in this like crazy creative environment engage. And so the top picture of that post, the beautiful choice, is out of that Burning Man experience. She actually had a successful Kickstarter campaign and put some pictures of that together. But some of the photos that I see in here look to be out of, I can see at least 2 that I recognize from the Burning Man, if not 3.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that project was the biggest undertaking of my professional career, of course. And you're right, I did every part of it myself, including the creation of the Kickstarter campaign, and also taught myself InDesign and designed the book myself. And like some other people were talking about, I think it was Stella, I'm at the point of needing to market it, and I'm quite frankly completely out of energy. I'm just exhausted. And yeah, the link to the book, sorry, it's hard to do both, but dustyplayground.com, it's pretty easy. If anyone else can type that in, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, actually, to be honest, finding Steemit, because I've been so exhausted by that project and I really haven't been doing any other work, finding Steemit has been incredible, because for 3 years that book completely consumed me. And so to come onto Steemit and find myself inspired to pick up my guitar for the first time in months, and to write a song for the first time in 4 years, and to really dig into those other creative facets that I have kind of shelved for so long, and entering into the open mics and having people be so warm and kind and generous in their reception of my various offerings has been life-changing, quite frankly.
Let me go find one of these pictures. Is one of my favorite sort of still photographs I've seen. It's kind of this steampunk baby that's kind of in the desert here. Let me see if I can
Yeah, I had set a few aside, and I'm trying to upload some of them here just to show you some of my favorite little ones. They're just, I mean, the kids.
You're in Fast Company.
Yeah, that was the crazy thing.
What?
I know. That's what happened. When I did that Kickstarter campaign, I just I catapulted myself into the public eye in a way that I wasn't really ready for. Honestly, it was pretty terrifying. I was getting, people requesting interviews from every direction. There were 2 Huffington Post articles as well, and I wrote an article for the Elephant Journal, and yeah, it was pretty intense. It's funny. You're clearly Googling me. That happens.
Yeah. But were you able to earn money from this book?
Did it
work out financially?
I still am holding out hope that it will. I will say that I'm at the point where I've exhausted my reach. Everybody who knows me, and quite frankly, with the tools at my disposal, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those places suppress anything that's promotional. And even when I pay to boost my posts, like, so few people see them. And so I printed 2,000 copies. I've still got about 1,400 left.
Is it on Amazon? Like, have you gone that route?
I've tried, and I mean, we clearly, we don't have enough time to go into that. Maybe we can chat about that sometime, but it's just like brick walls everywhere. And I have gone through what I need to do for Amazon, and I'm kind of still waiting for them to contact me. I'm in that stage.
Okay, so we probably need to talk, just because I published on Amazon. It's self-publishing is probably the way for you to go.
Yeah, I am self-published entirely at this point, but yeah, that's a chat for another time. Let's chat about that.
All right. Okay. So this was Zipporah. Hopefully you have enjoyed her art and certainly her photography, and it seems like, especially with Zarya fans in the room and folks that listen to open mic, people have had an experience with Zipporah elsewhere. She's been on the Minnow Mayor Town Hall with me and has gotten some traction sort of all over for her very fantastic photography. So
yeah, I had never seen her photos before. They're beautiful.
They're quite amazing. So this is the one. I'm not allowed to hang pictures in my house because people say that my art taste is poor, and I don't even have the ability to like hang things in a straight line. But even I, with my totally unsophisticated eye, can see this and say, this is a world-class photographer. And so I wanted to go share that with this community. And so now I want to go to, so Zipporah, you can have like one last closing statement for us. And then I want to go bring Elo onto the show.
Perfect. I just want to thank you for inviting me to do this. I mean, you've been so incredibly supportive, right, kind of from the get-go, as so many people I see on here have been. And I mean, honestly, this is pretty much what I'm doing full-time now, and you all are making that possible and actually feel like, I mean, it's paying my rent already, which is pretty incredible. So thank you all so much, and I'm super inspired by the people I've seen here. And I did just drop my current open mic entry and a little bit of a demonstration of my ballpoint pen art. So thank you all so much for having me.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah, that was Zipporah. I'm going to bring Zipporah back into the main audience room. You know, it is now 10:31. That went a little bit longer than what we have time for, but this is an art show. What are you going to do?
Do we have another show right after?
Crimmy comes on a little bit later. I'm going to run up into, I have to be in Boston at 2 for the Boston meetup. So
okay.
I have 30 minutes. Maybe I can push to 45. But then I'm literally sprinting out of my house and illegally speeding until I get to Brookline.
All right, let's go, I guess, with Elo. And then I've been told that Reinhard is ready too, so we can bring him on after.
So Elo, then Reinhard, and then...
we have Mr. Blind Draw still,
yep.
And
yes.
Is Sneck coming on? Are we?
Snakey's supposed to be coming on too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we also have Wanef. So I don't know if Wanef got mic checked, but that would be useful to know if somebody could share that. Yeah. So
Elo Projects is next.
Elo,
is that right?
Yeah. Let me go.
Yep.
Let me go. Elo, you are unmuted by me, so you are self-muted. Can you turn your speakers back on and we can start talking to you, Elo? And did I hear a lighter? Are you smoking?
That's me.
Yeah. Well, you're so busted. You're busted. Smoking is bad for you. Elo, are you there?
Sorry.
I need a cigarette now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, can you hear me?
All right. Here's Elo. Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome to the.
All right.
Welcome.
You're on Steem.
Yeah, thank you.
Steem Visions on MSP-waves. This is it's 12:30. So we're running into the final quarter of our show. It's great to have you here. Is this Elo artwork here? The concept art?
Okay, visionary artist extraordinaire. I put his website in there.
Let me pop a couple images in there real quick.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I have your most recent post too, which was amazing. Your DMT trip with the aliens and everything. That was incredible.
Yeah.
Can you link that? Oh, there it is.
There we
Oh
go.
my god, check this out, you guys. This is like serious stuff.
Yeah, I re-steamed this one already.
Thank you.
I liked
Blow it up.
I liked seeing the weird thing that caught my eye the most. It's not weird that you made it, but it's weird that I really got attracted to the tiny little bubbles that all have the same image within them.
Yeah.
That was pretty epic.
Yeah. So that piece is quite old, maybe almost 5 years. And it's just recounting a trip I had when I was 19, and it was excruciating to say the least. But yeah, I wanted to memorialize that because it really changed the trajectory of my life. I mean, I went through a very megalomaniacal period in my life, about 7 years, and I just way too much emphasis on my ego. And a lot of people talk about psychedelics dissolving the ego, and this particular trip had the opposite effect on me. It overemphasized it, and so it was a really brutal period. But I look back on it, and I'm very, very grateful for the experience because it kind of cracked open my head and opened up my heart to be able to relate to people on a deeper level, I think.
And you guys, there's a video in that post with him telling the story, so you have to watch it if you get a chance.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. I appreciate you guys reaching out to me.
So how long have you been on Steem It? You're relatively new, aren't you?
Yeah, I started just about the first of the year, and it's been a real challenge to figure out how to not get dumped as soon as you put your posts out. So I was just paying attention, and Julia, your art contests are super amazing, and I've just kept my eyes out for things like that, and dropping into Slaw the Corn to see what's happening. And Stella, you're doing something really amazing for people, and I want you to know that I'm really grateful for the support that you've shown me, and I think that it's honestly a very wonderful thing. So thank you.
Oh, I'm glad. And I feel like as the group organically grows and I understand better what we all need as artists, I can really design something in the future that works for us, our creativity, matching up our artist self with people that have way too much money who love to support artists. Like, that is my mission right now. That's what I'm
Yeah.
focused on, because
Yeah.
I feel like artists, we're going to be the new abundant in our creativity that will help sustain us. Like, forget about trying to be like a gazillionaire. Let's just figure out how can we be sustaining our creativity without slaving away at a stupid job.
Yeah. I mean,
The
It's
dream.
just
so
crazy.
I set out as an independent artist about 4 years ago, and I was laid off from a job making, a nice chunk of change, but oh God, was it soul sucking. Um, I think I read the 4-hour work week, and I only made it to the point to where
I read that one
Tim,
too.
yeah, Tim's like, you just need to start saying no. So I'm like, oh, this will work, and so I just started saying no, and that terminated my career. So yeah, I mean,
It's a problem, because I mean, for me, I think about like, what am I going to create next? Not where's my money coming from. So
yes,
really, with blockchain technology, we have an opportunity to figure this out. If we all just
Yeah.
like put our brains together and
Yep.
really like go to the next level, I feel like it's possible. We could do this.
Absolutely. I feel that too. I mean, there's so much potential here. The conversations I run into most with people kind of resisting like the idea of the blockchain is, it's always like, well, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. And I'm like, it's really simple. It just is kind of up to you to make it. That's what's so beautiful about the whole decentralization concept. You have to take the responsibility for it. And so yeah, looking at Steemit as kind of like a mini business, and spending time curating and spending the time creating content, and just strategizing, joining Discord. Like, you have to be engaged with it because it's your face on the blockchain, and there's a ton of potential there. So it's really cool.
Well, we're going to work together on a visionary art project and have it linked to Slothicorn so we can power the upvotes for it. I feel like that's
Awesome.
the next thing.
Yeah. I'm totally willing to help you. I don't have, all the time in the world, but of course that changes as I'm able to better support my family, with my art. So, I want you to know, Stella, that I'm super appreciative of your support, and I'm here. We just have to talk and figure out what I can do to help this along.
Yeah. It's awesome. I'm really impressed with your art. It's amazing.
It's
Thank
stunning.
You're,
Before we start moving on, do you have any project that you're working on right now that you wanted to
Yeah.
pitch or
I've
just
always
tell us about?
Well, I've always got album covers going. So I work a lot with psychedelic trance artists and kind of the underbelly of culture in general. But I'm working with Chadrick right now on SFEOS, with Alexandra of Art 2. And that's an incredibly promising project. It's I don't want to go into the whole thing, but yeah, that and Ruben Alexander reached out to me about some work for the RPG and everything. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the mix, and a lot of it doesn't really pertain to this particular discussion, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. So
did you make that spaceship? The
yeah,
meritocracy?
yeah.
That thing's awesome.
Yeah.
I like it. Feels fish-like in a very cool way.
Yeah, I was kind of going for that, like a sailfish or a swordfish, something like that.
Which one are we talking about?
Sorry,
We have it
no. This is a 12-day-old post. As the artists have been coming on, I've been looking for things to go re-steam and reshare, or upvote, or just try to get some extra attention to.
Oh, there it is.
So
it looks like a shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that. All right. So you get I hate to kick you off, but I have to because
No, no,
there's
no,
more
fine.
artists. But share. Would you want a closing thought to be? What do you want us to either feel, think, or know, sort of coming out of your art? What are you trying to do to your audience?
Uh, I'm trying to give a window into um, my mind. So the term visionary is a little bit ostentatious, and I try not to use it concerning myself. So I like to think of myself as a psychedelic artist in the literal sense of like mind manifesting. Um, and yeah, I just want to bring my experiences to the forefront and try to be as transparent as possible, so that um, I mean, the psychedelics can ruin you, or they can take you to unimaginably beautiful places, and I just it's true.
I think you
And
hit a
I want to,
nerve.
yeah, I want to make sure that people know that like those hard times are also part of it, and you can work through it, and there's ways to kind of transmute it into something positive. So yeah, that's where I'm at, definitely, as an artist.
And my last comment will be just staring at the meritocracy and looking at the warp engine that you put in, the warp field that comes after it, being this sort of wave that you've created. That's awesome. That level of tiny little detail to not just turn it into like a boost, but to actually see like a wave formation pattern come out of that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. All right.
All right, right on.
That was.
Yeah, guys.
Thank you so much. I love your
Yeah.
art. So cool.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk soon. Thanks
All
a
right,
lot.
that was Elo Projects. I'm moving Elo Projects back into the audience room. I think next up we're going to try Reinhard Schmidt again,
Yes.
followed by Snecky, and then Mr. Blind Draw. Sorry to pull you up last, but that's how these things go. So Reinhard, you're up next. I have you on a server mute. I'm taking you off of a server mute. Reinhard, can you try talking to us again?
Yeah, hi. Do you hear me now?
Hey, that sounds infinitely better.
Yeah.
We did 2 sound checks. They both work.
Okay, great. You sound awesome.
Can I get a link to Reinhard Schmidt's page, please?
There we go. That's his newest post that he sent me, and it's a bit of a who he is kind of post, but all about him.
Okay.
That is so cool.
I know, it's amazing.
So there's a video in here. It looks like it's you doing some very fine pencil art and then also sort of talking through what you're creating.
I'm my special to draw on glass. That's what I'm.
And I'm going to throw up the other post. What is Hinterglass? This talks about his process. And it's absolutely stunning what he does. Here we go.
Yeah, that's a draw.
Oh no, we're losing you again.
This is heartbreaking.
How is this? Maybe I was talking in the wrong direction. You hear me now?
I can hear you now, yeah. So why don't you tell people a little bit about what Hinterglass is and why you started painting on it?
Technique, actually.
Yeah, this might not actually work because I'm getting no audio again.
Oh no. I did a test call with him beforehand and I could hear him fine.
You type and talk?
Yeah, this is a bit of a bandwidth hog. So sometimes when you're in the conversation, it's harder than just the one.
Oh dear.
All right, Reinhard, this is not gonna be the last. This is not going to be the last sort of Steem Visions panel that we'll do. I think because of technical difficulties and a live audience, I'm gonna move on. We're gonna get you back on in a later process. I've re-steamed some of your work, and I'm totally happy to have this conversation. But you're either inaudible or clicking in and out.
Sorry.
Maybe if we do this again, we can do a pre-recorded interview with you and then play it.
Yeah, and I'm happy to go do that right after this too. I mean, I can't do it immediately, but Reinhard, if you and I want to go put together like a 4 or 5 minute interview or something, we can try to record that. And if that doesn't work, then you can just do a 4 or 5 minute interview, make a post, and I'm happy to re-steam that too. All right. Well, that was Reinhard Schmidt. Sorry for the technical difficulties on that. They don't always go as planned. The next person I want to bring on here. This is another long-term Minnow Support Project member. This lady is this is Poetic Snake. Poetic runs or co-hosts a radio show with Main Event, and is a charming, classic, and sort of kind-hearted spirit that's also quite creative with her art and with her words. It is an absolute pleasure to go bring onto the show our dear Snick. Are you there?
Hey everybody, yes I'm here. Thank you for the nice words.
Necky, thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Steam logo drawing. So that's one of the last posts that I have. So I'm popping open this piece of art. But rather than just going with the pieces of art that I can find, are there things that you want us to see, or the things that you want me to show in particular?
Yes, I just started creating a new artsy kind of project. It's with a wink, of course, and it's called Steam Worms. I can share a link if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
Yes, links.
Yeah, on topic links are always welcome, but it's the ones that are like totally off topic. That just don't. That's not productive.
I just kicked the last guy who did that twice.
Yeah. You know, the rules around here are relatively simple, and especially when people say, "Hey, no link spam," and people link spam, that's a pretty fast way to get kicked. So here's Steam Worms. So the image is already in there, but some planet aliens, funky. So so how did you find Steam, and what makes you want to like share artwork on this platform? Is it just the rewards that are part of this, or what else compels you to sort of like take the creative parts of your life and put it out into this platform in particular?
When I joined Steemit in 2016, July, and I joined because I wanted to share my poetry. And I shared mostly very dark poetry. And at the time of sharing those, there wasn't a huge audience for that. So I thought, what if I share just one of my drawings I made? I think I made a drawing with makeup, with eyeshadow on paper, a wolf or anything like that. And that post got attention instead of my poetry. So I thought maybe I should not share my poetry here, but share the other creative part of myself, the drawings and the funny, silly worms I am doing right now, because I take everything with a wink. And so that made me share my drawings. Obviously, I think everybody here likes to share art or their post to get a little bit of money. It doesn't have to be much, but it's welcome. I mean, I'm not going to say I share my work for free all the time because that's so funny. No, I joined Steemit because there's an opportunity to earn with something that you love to do, and that's why I share it.
And that's just to be clear with everybody, that's not criminal. That doesn't there's a giant difference between being able to earn while you're doing what you love and selling out, and basically turning into like a giant corporate artist or doing the thing specifically for the money. Just to be clear with all the artists in here, you don't have to take an involuntary vow of poverty just to be an artist. It's okay to both be successful and do art, and the key part is sort of living true to the vision that you started with, or what resonates with you as you're along that process.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if you work outside, like you work with plants, you would like to get paid for doing your work. And I think everybody here on Steemit who makes it their job, or, share art or stories. I mean, it's work, but it's something you really enjoy. So why not get paid for it? I mean, to me, that's very normal. But
and fair. It's not. I don't know. So I'm staring at this picture of you. Did you created this sort of pop art self portrait?
Yes, but I took a picture of myself. I don't like to take pictures of myself. And then I started to play with this online. Um, oh my gosh, I'm at loss for words at times. Not Photoshop, but a program like
Is
it.
that the
And then,
deep dream generator?
no, it's a program where you have all kind of filters you can use, and then you put a filter on or a certain artist filter. They're free to use, and everybody can add to them. And then you can toy around with it with colors and everything like that. So you um, yeah, you use something created by someone else in a way like you do in Photoshop. You add filters to it, and that's what came out. So I didn't paint this one.
I love
It's
it
just
that you look really cat-like in that photo.
wow. Thank you.
Yeah. Very feline.
Yeah.
And it just pops like I guess I shouldn't have used that word because this hits me as pop art, but in just the way that like the color blends and just how much pop there is to this image, and it's compelling that the your right eye, but the eye that's on the left side of the screen, as this sort of like pink, red, yellow thing, feels a little cyborg like, but also I was going to say cyborgian, but it's like a cyborg eye, and it's like, but it's quite compelling because it's not just like the red dot of like a Terminator eye, but it's this like artistic circle that's built into there.
Yeah, I like it too, and it just popped up really. I think it's the way you take a picture and then you go with the filters. It creates something for you that you know, like with painting, you start painting hands, like you Simon said, and you end up with something totally different.
I'm looking at the Steam logo, the sort of like aquatic. It almost strikes me as like a deep sea creature that came out of the Steam logo. That's fun too.
Yeah, it's like coral and tentacles and yeah,
Yes.
that's really cool.
And I've always been a fan of this technique of like you have that. I'm looking at the blue hues that are built into this, where it looks like you spill art or you spill the ink and then let the ink sort of move along the page. I think that stuff always looks quite cool.
Yeah, and it looks cool. And when I first tried to do it, it was a total mess because you try things and you mess up. And then I saw this video on YouTube of somebody doing it, and I was, oh my gosh, that's how they do it. They use a straw to blow it away.
Funky.
Yeah, it's often if you look at art, it looks always so difficult, but if you dive into it, you will find these little tricks. Not with everything, of course, but you find these cute little trickies you can do, which make it drawing or painting look amazing. While it's like poof, and it's done.
That's like the great thing about living right now is that we have access to all those tutorials and stuff. I watch art tutorials on YouTube all the time while I'm actually drawing and painting and watch other people draw and paint. And I find something really relaxing about it. And then I always learn like another little trick or I go, oh, that's how they did that. Interesting. I feel it helps me grow at the same time.
Yeah, and I like to couch surf with watching YouTube videos, how to do
Yes.
this, how to do that with my bag of chippies and, just woohoo.
All right, we're at 5 minutes of. I know that this feels like a super short interview snack. I'm sorry to go keep these things as short, but I am on a bit of a tight timeline. I want to go bring on Mr. Blinddraw. And so I want to give you a chance to kind of give some last thoughts on either how you want us to experience your art, what your vision is, or what the goals are. I try to keep these things sort of quite open, but just give us some sort of final thoughts of you know, what that art represents to you and what it ought to represent to us.
I think that every art that is shared, no matter by who, every artist shares a little piece of their soul. They put a lot of effort in either their drawings, their paintings, their photography, you name it. And posts on Steemit are not always long when artists post. It needs to be fun, it needs to be catchy, and the art needs to tell the story, and that is what I do. I try to tell a funny story, sometimes a very serious story with my drawings, and I don't know where it's going. I don't want to know where it's going, and I think that is the fun of art.
Well, rock on. All right, you've been listening to Poetic Snake here on. It's hard for me not to say Sneck because it's always don't step on Sneck, and but it's Poetic Snake, and or this is Poetic Snake you've been listening to. One of our DJs that co-hosts a show with Main Event, constant present in the Minnow Support Project, talented artist, and I don't know, just lovely radio voice to get to experience at times.
Thank you for joining us, Snake.
Thank you all for having me here, and thank you again for the nice word. I'm very humbled. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. All right, so last up, sorry to go make you wait, Mr. Blind Draw. This was just the luck of the draw, if you can pardon the pun. But Mr. Blind Draw, are you there?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you great.
Yes.
That comes through beautifully. All right.
Welcome.
All right. So do you have some art, or do you have something that I should have on my screen that we should take a look at?
Let me drop something in really quickly.
All righty.
Tell us your other name, because I don't think people know that you're someone else. Right?
Yeah. So my actual main career is in music. So I have a separate Steemit page that I'm running also that's specifically for music, and I will post that.
But your name is Can I say your name?
Yeah, go ahead.
People know you're Play It Forward, do they?
They do now.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Well,
I didn't know that. This is a revelation for me.
Yeah, I'm two different people.
Collage. Global.
I've talked to both of you and I didn't realize.
No, I don't think people understand this.
Yeah, I've talked to the same person with both accounts a few times now.
That's
kind
sneaky.
of a fun game though. And this actually spins into how it started, because it started on Instagram, where I had my music page and I didn't want people to be confused. So
I can understand wanting to separate those identities a little bit.
And I don't want music followers to be thinking, oh, this guy's like weird, he's like painting strangers. And that's how it started. Is I kind of started getting this, high painting strangers on Instagram, and people started asking me to have a copy of it, or like a couple people started commissioning me, and I realized that I'm kind of onto something. It's like a weird fashion illustration. I'm not really as much of a fine artist as a lot of the people we've talked about today. It's a very simplified form.
You definitely have a really unique style, though.
Oh,
I'm going to
thank
see
you.
if I can grab another one of your posts here.
I'm going through the most recent artwork is Soy Rosa being painted. So I'm playing that clip of sort of how you put her image together.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, I actually put out a post last week just asking for submissions. It was the first time I've done it on Steemit, to see what type of reaction I would get. It's kind of a trend with me, is seeing the reaction of people. And Soy Rosa posted a photo of herself, and I've actually interacted with her, I think, on both profiles before. And so I just decided to choose hers, and this one was one of the more time-consuming paintings, because I wanted to try doing a blending technique that I'm, not super confident with. Other artists here like extremely skilled at that, but I'm just experimenting in every single one. and I don't have a particular technique yet. So with her photo, I just tried to, you know, make it cool, and they always kind of turn out differently. And also the background is it's a blend of her headpiece kind of all like turned around and stuff in Photoshop.
Yeah, it's awesome. I was wondering too if you wanted to talk about your involvement with Sandbox and the Whisper project.
Absolutely, yeah. So for those who don't know, it's an art project that's basically, it's based on highlighting artists individually versus like a contest, which can be tons of submissions and kind of doesn't really highlight specific people's stuff as much. So with Sandbox, I proposed to them to run this type of gallery where each week it's a new person, and starting off with a seed of inspiration, each person after that does a piece based on the artist before them, sort of like the game Telephone.
And nobody knows the original seed. Like the following artists don't know the original seed, right?
Gosh.
Yeah, I mean, they can look it up, but
Still ongoing? Or...
yeah, it's ongoing, and there's 15 people total slated for it. And I went and contacted everyone for this one, and maybe in the future it'll be a open submission collaboration. But I got such a resounding response from the art community on Steemit that it was so painful for me to choose artists because there's so many good artists.
God, yeah. That's so cool. Where have I been? I don't know what's
Yeah, I'm going to be doing one in 2 weeks, and I'm so excited to see what the inspiration image is going to be that I'm going to have to start with.
Yes, I know.
Exciting. It's like a surprise. So.
Are you and Julia, have you already done it? Whisper?
No, I'm doing it in 2 weeks. Yeah, so I have to wait till the person before me does their image, and then I will use their image as an inspiration for a next image. So I don't even know what it's going to be yet. I can't even plan ahead.
I have no idea either. I think the person going this week is Nature of Being, and she is doing like a mosaic ceramic tile piece.
Oh, interesting.
So it's really interesting, and I think something. Sorry, I realize that this is push to talk. Something that I really like about the platform is that it's kind of a step to level the playing field of like artists' financial opportunity. So even in developing countries, everyone basically has an equal opportunity to succeed here. And it's not like art is just meant for, you know, galleries or museums. It's open to share with everyone, basically at the click of a button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, I mean, there's a couple other projects that I want to be doing, and I'm probably starting one either this week or next. And
wow, how many are you doing all at the same time? How many projects are you running?
Well, with music and art, I mean, there's a good amount. I have to keep myself balanced.
So let's list them. You're doing the global collage for Slothacorn, the Whisper for Sandbox.
Yeah. And then, well, a couple things unannounced, but there's a couple things I'm actually going to be like curator on regularly. And then weekly on my Play It Forward account, I'm doing this thing on Mondays that's doing the Steem coin cryptocurrency chart musically. So it's a way to kind of, I don't know, sonify the chart because everyone's showing it visually.
Right.
Didn't you already do one a little bit like that? I seem to remember seeing it. It was like the chart was making music.
Yeah, so it's not automated. Since I'm a composer, like I'm trying to do it differently every single week. So I've been doing it since January 1st, and it's, you know, it's a pretty crazy process to start that.
It's such a cool idea.
It is so cool. We need, you guys, art world. We need a weekly show I'm starting to realize there's too much I'm missing because I cannot keep track of everything. And I don't know what the heck's going on because I'm in my own little, corner. So this is like essential that we find out what's going on.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to keep up with. It's not easy.
Yeah, but it's been, it's been a very welcoming community, and in my mind, I actually don't put it into the social network category because
Mm-hmm.
it it just feels like a community more than a place you go to, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to explain that. But I definitely see a big separation in my brain between going on Facebook or Instagram and going on Steemit, and it's a very positive emotional reaction every single time I go on Steemit. Where other
Right.
social networks, I do not have that.
Me too. It's empty. I feel like it's spiritually devoid of real connection. Whereas Steemit is you can find the people that you resonate deeply with and then start working on a collaboration, and that there's nothing like it in regular social media, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I also just, I don't know how much time there's left or if we're way over, but I just wanted to thank everyone for inviting me to this. And I've discovered a few artists also from this that I will hopefully be in touch with, and I'll be following all of you as well. But yeah, I just hope everyone can, like, stay tuned and just check out what we're all doing, because I was unaware of a lot of the art that you guys are doing, and it's really blowing me away.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's why we're doing this.
yeah. What as I keep doing these different Saturday events, one of my main goals is trying to bring together communities. And one of the best ways to do that is to sort of like bring prominent members that might still run in different circles and try to connect everybody together. And that is literally like the central theme of my witness campaign is trying to bring disparate groups together, have a communal space within the Minnow Support Project and the Peace, Abundance, and Liberty Network where everybody can share and sort of communicate back and forth to have a common home across the entire platform, and really try to facilitate having niche either channels within Minnow Support Project or niche Discord channels all together so that you can get your focus on music, focus on art, focus on photography, and help encourage people and link them together, because that's how these communities grow. And I think that's part of what makes this a special place of, rather than singing into an empty auditorium like Crimson Clad described it, or sort of just putting out your art in a heartless, devoid space, it starts feeling a lot more like a home, like a digital community, like a digital homestead. And that's very much the intent of this. So that's a phenomenal way to sort of transition from the online exhibit to the purpose of this, and ultimately to the end of this session, because I do have to run in about 5 minutes. But I don't know, Stella, do you want to add some closing thoughts, and then Julia add some closing thoughts, and then we'll wrap it up for today.
I'll be really fast. What I'm learning is that we do need a weekly art show that focuses on communication of all the different projects that's going on, and this will help us get a little bit cohesive, and more synergy is necessary. And I feel like with communities it's possible that will happen, but I feel like it's better to just start talking and getting to know everyone.
Well,
With more synergy, I feel like we're going to get these problems solved of how do creatives live independently,
It is absolutely. This is my shameless pitch for the network. I've been trying to get Stella to go have her own show forever, so I'm hoping that at one point, you're saying, but this is a bit joke, but also a bit serious in that, like, every time that I've really felt the need of, like, what we need, we really need somebody to do this. And then I often look around and say, the best person to go do that is me. And so I hope that that inward call that you have of we really need a show that focuses on this. That I hope that you recognize that you are most likely the most phenomenal person in the entire Steam community to host and organize it. So one of these
if you knew my organizational skills, wait, you would not say that.
Yeah, but
I'm on the spectrum of coming out of my shell and being in a hibernation zone, so
well,
I feel like with help I could get it organized, but me organizing, it's never going to happen. I'll be honest.
I'm gonna keep poking at you. This is an art show. Maybe there's an organized artist that's in here, and maybe through all of us we can sink our claws deep into you. And,
she's good.
I'm semi organized.
Oh, you're pretty organized.
Julia, have you thought about having an art radio show? Like we could have a freaking podcast called Chain. It would probably kick some serious butt.
I mean, I think it's such a really cool idea because I think there's nothing else like that right now.
That's it.
Yeah. My only concern is the time element. Always feeling like there's not enough time to do everything. So I don't know. We'll see, I guess, what happens.
I mean, if nothing else, if I can help further bring you two together, and in combination of showcasing all of these phenomenal artists, but again, this is my goal is to go build the network. I mean, I feel like I'm the outlier, the interloper here, trying to watch you two gather artists and this community of artists and just try to let it sink into my brain and absorb it. Okay,
I'll make it happen. I will.
Nice.
I'll make it happen.
Nice.
Oh, and I had one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and we forgot, but I'll make it really quick.
No, this is your outro. This is it, Julia. This is
the sort of whole idea of Slothicorn is to present sort of crypto and art together to the outside world and to also reward artists. But there's been another sort of side project that's come out of that, which is the Creative Commons movement. And that's Alexandra V Art that's kind of branched that off as well. So for everybody out there who makes posts on Steemit, if you need art and you don't want to just use stock images, you can search the Creative Commons tag, or you can look on Alexandra V Art's page, which I just put up her Creative Commons page, and you can find the art that's there. You're free to use it however you like in your post. You can modify it, you can edit it, and if you want to be generous, you can always kick the artist back, a couple bucks or a little percentage of your payout to say thank you. So this is another really great way for artists to get a little bit of financial payback for giving their work for free.
Source, you left that out because the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 license says specifically you must have the source. So you can't just, because people are ripping off art right now and pretending that they created it in the hopes that Slothicorn will upvote them. This is not going to work. It's not saying that you have to put the source.
Yeah.
You have to say this person, Alexandra Vart, or whoever it is, created this Creative Commons work that I'm using in my post. Across, because the amount of, what's going on is not pretty right now with Slothicorn. We're in a reorganization phase.
Police. But yeah, I feel like not enough people are taking advantage of that. A lot of people know about it yet. I've had Ashley Killa use my art in a couple of her posts, which was awesome, but I haven't seen a lot of other people.
I know, they don't know it.
Using Steemit art, and there's so much out there. There's so much available. There's so many people who want to collaborate with writers and other people who maybe don't have the artistic skills to, complement their post.
It's like we really should have been doing this from the beginning, the get-go.
We tried to start a thing with Inquiring Time that was going to be kind of like that, connecting artists with writers and stuff like that. And I guess it just sort of snowballed into the Slothicorn thing in the end.
Because I'd been thinking from the very get-go, I was like, I want to build a Creative Commons, photo image library on the back burner. I've got like 20 plates spinning all at once. It's like, finally, the Creative Commons thing is taking off. We're providing like a lot of value because it frees up people. And for the spammers out there, come on, just
Stop.
about what Creative Commons is. It's like, it's just not going to be pretty. I will flag people to oblivion.
All right. Well, I think that's our show today. We're going to end it on Stella flagging spammers into oblivion. But no, in all seriousness, this has been a phenomenal experience. I love seeing the creativity and the gifts of the Steem community. The number of very talented artists is quite shocking given how small our platform is, but how many talented people are on here is pretty extraordinary. And I think as we come together and form communities, come show how these communities can continue to attract people, provide value to the network, provide value to the platform, instill creativity, and just like hit us personally with, you know, as the creator, here are my feels, this is what they look like. And as the recipient, I can see your feels, this is how I absorb it, and this is how it impacts me. I think as we can grow all of these things, it'll just make for a bigger, larger, better, healthier community, not just for artists, but then those artists will impact other projects, impact the way that we see the world, help grow Steem. And as all of that happens, the number of people that we add into the Steem network is going to increase the price as more people try to hold it, which will be great in the long term for that whole sustainability of art, because the whole point is
More art whales.
well, yeah, I mean, but maybe less in terms of Steem whales, but we'll all become wealthier as we keep trying to hold this token, because there's only 270 million of them in the world, and as we go up from the nearly 1 million accounts that we have up to 5 million and 10 million accounts, as this thing grows and more people and more accounts try to hold on to that same rough amount of Steem, it's going to keep pushing the price higher and higher. And I'm looking forward to the times where we as creators are going to be able to get paid zounds of money, ungodly sums of money for the art that we create through everybody wanting to own a piece of this network and being able to provide upvotes and have that blockchain currency and be able to trade with one another. So so there you have it. Please check out Slothicorn. Please check out Stella Bell. Please check out Julia K. Ponsford and the Art Explosion. Please investigate all the various artists that have joined us for today. You've been listening to MSP-Waves Radio. This was Steem Visions. This will not be the last Steem Visions. Even if you two get your own show, we can kind of cross-collaborate, you know, I don't know, maybe once a quarter or something, or more frequently, depending on how you two view this. But I'm excited to help put this together. Thank you to both my co-hosts. Thank you to the dozen or so artists that we brought on board. This has been a pretty sizable audience here today, so hopefully you guys got something out of this as well. And thank you for joining us. This is Aggro signing off.
Thanks.